The dominant chord. It's elusive, it's complicated, it's much more than meets the eye. Today I'm hoping to simplify it a little bit, and I'm going to show you the 5 common dominant 7th chords, and I'm going to explain them in detail, and then we're going to see how they work in the context of a tune. A dominant chord can imply borrowed harmony, modal interchange, tritone substitution, secondary dominance. All those things are important, but I'm throwing them out for this video. All I want you to be able to do by the end of this video is to look at a lead sheet or a set of chord changes, see a dominant 7th chord, see where it resolves to, and where it resolves to will determine what kind of sound the chord will make, meaning what kind of extensions you will use. So there's 5 of them, and let's dive in right now. Number 1, it's the most common probably. It's the 5-to-1 relationship. And the root movement is going from a 5-to-1, a 4th, or 5-to-1, a 5th. For in C, 5 is G. We can move up a 4th to C, or down a 5th to the other C. Up a 4th, down a 5th. It's a 2-5-1. D minor 7, G7, C major. In minor, D half diminished, G7, C minor. It's that 5-to-1. It's also can be in secondary dominance. C major, we could have 5 of the 2. We're still resolving to the 2, and it's that 4th or 5th movement. So that's the first one. Now let's quickly talk about extensions here. When we go to a major chord, you can have any extension you want, unaltered or altered. When you go to minor, it's a little more limited. You're only going to deal with flat 9s, sharp 9s, sharp 11s, and flat 13s. So in major, you can have flat 9, natural 9, sharp 9, sharp 11, flat 13, 13. Minor, flat 9, sharp 9, sharp 11, flat 13. Just memorize it. I'll put it on the screen so you can screenshot it and just get that in your head. Doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Numbers 2, 3, and 4 are part of what I call the dominant 13, sharp 11 triangle. It has natural 9, sharp 11, 13. Number 2 is what I call a slide chord. It slides down a half step, and it will use a 9, sharp 11, and 13. Any chord that goes down a half step, it's a slide chord. It slides down a half step. A lot of times it implies a tritone substitution, but you don't even need to go that deep. If you see a chord on a lead sheet that starts here and goes down a half step and resolves down a half step, it's a dominant 13, sharp 11. That's the first one of this triangle. For instance, if we're in the key of C, and I play C, E flat 7, sharp 11, down to D, that E flat 7 went down a half step to D. Now check this out. That E flat 7, we've got a 9, sharp 11, 13. That's considered like an unaltered chord, really. These aren't altered chords. The sharp 11 is not really considered altered. If I put A in the bass, which is the tritone substitution, now it becomes altered. So that's something to keep in mind. Tritone substitutions, the extensions flip. So here we have flat 13, there's a root, sharp 9. These are altered extensions. If I do the tritone sub to E flat, now we have a natural 9, sharp 11, natural 13. Altered, unaltered. And look at this, it's related to our 5-to-1 that we just did. A7 up a 4th to D major, E flat down a half step to D minor. I'm sorry, I said D major. A7 is the 5 of D minor. E flat 7, tritone sub, down a half step to D minor. again, if you see a dominant chord that goes down a half step, it's a dominant 13 sharp 11. This can be applied to any diatonic chords in a key. So say it with me. If the dominant 7th chord resolves down a half step, it's a dominant 13 sharp 11. Number 3, I call it a common tone dominant. It's when a dominant 7th chord resolves up a whole step. Most of the time, this is the flat 7 of a key or flat 7 of whatever chord we're going to. So it's a whole step down, it resolves up a whole step. If we're in the key of C, the flat 7 of C is B flat. Resolves up a whole step to C. Now, why do I call it a common tone dominant? Well, the extensions, 9, 11, 13, they're actually, it forms the triad of the chord that we're going to. So B flat 7, if I play 9, sharp 11, 13, well, it's a flat 7 going up to C. Common tone dominant. Very common gospel progression. 1 major, 1 5 going to the 4, flat 7 dominant up to 1. A tune like Just Friends. That F7 goes up to G. Now the bridge of Stella by Starlight. A flat 7 resolves up to B flat. Resolves up a whole step. Common tone dominant. That's number 3. The final one of our triangle here, the 13 sharp 11 triangle, is number 4. I call this the squatter dominant because it doesn't move. The root doesn't move. If you see a dominant 7 that stays the same, a lot of times it'll stay the same and it'll become a minor 7, and it's normally a 2 chord. This is dominant 13 sharp 11. If we're going to be in the key of C, there's our 1 chord. Normally, it's a 2 minor 7. But a lot of times you'll hear tunes that go 1, 2 dominant, 13 sharp 11. The root stays the same, and then it becomes a minor 7, which a lot of times will set up a 2, 5, 1. A lot of times with these, not always, but we'll come back at some point to the 5 to 1 relationship that we talked about in number 1. Take the A train as an example of this one. Dominant 13 sharp 11 stays the same on the root, becomes D minor 7. Girl from Ipanema. 2 dominant, stays the same, becomes D minor 7. Okay, so that's number 4. The 2, 7, root stays the same, becomes the 2 chord. Okay, number 5. Now we're getting into altered dominant territory. If a dominant 7th chord resolves up a half step, you use an altered dominant. Flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13. It's a deceptive cadence. And a lot of times it's going from the major 7 up to the 1, and from like the 3 to the 4. That's another common one. If we're doing Sunny Side of the Street, just the chord changes. Go up a half step. It implies altered dominant. The end of the song is you, let's see, the bridge. B7 goes up a half step to the 1. If the dominant 7th chord goes up a half step, it's an altered dominant. Okay, so let's see all these in action. So we're in the key of E flat, for it could happen to you. I might imply the melody a little bit, I might not, we'll just see. So here's how it works. Let's go through it. We got our 1 chord. Now the second measure we have, look at that root movement. It's going C7 altered to F minor. It's a secondary dominant, so it's moving up a fourth or down a fifth. So that implies our number 1. Back to the beginning. Secondary dominant. Now we have... Now if we were going to look at that in like a standard way of seeing it, D7 is the 5 of G minor, right? So it would, in a lot of cases, go... But it doesn't. It actually goes up a half step, number 5, to the 1. Let's do those 4 bars, 5 bars again. Moves up a fourth. Altered dominant moves up a half step to 1. Now here we have A flat 13 sharp 11. It's sharp 11 because look where it goes. It resolves down a half step. C7 altered. Resolves up a fourth, down a fifth to F minor. 5. It's a 5 of F. So that second line now we have the 2 chord, dominant 13 sharp 11. Look where it's going. It's resolving up a whole step. That's our common tone dominant. Up a whole step, dominant 13 sharp 11. Then we have this D minor 7, G7 altered. That is the 5 of C minor where it goes. That's our first one. Resolution up a fourth or down a fifth. F13 sharp 11. This is our squatter dominant. It stays the same. It becomes the 2 chord. 5, 1. Now let me play the whole thing again and we'll just do it kind of more in time. 1 chord, resolves up a fifth or down a fourth, up a half step, down a half step, up a fourth, up a whole step, fourth, stays the same to become minor, up a fourth, down a fifth, up a fourth, down a fifth, up a half step, down a half step, up a fourth, down a fifth, up a whole step, down a half step, fourth or fifth, fourth or fifth, down a half step, down a half step, down a half step. Okay, quick recap. Number 1, it's fourth movement, 5 to 1. Secondary dominant, 2, 5, 1. All extensions are possible in major, only altered extensions are possible in minor. Number 2, chords that resolve down a half step. That implies dominant 13 sharp 11, 9 sharp 11, 13. Number 3, chords that resolve up a whole step. Common tone dominants. Dominant 13 sharp 11, 9 sharp 11, 13. Number 4, starts as a dominant chord, the root stays the same, and it becomes a minor 7 chord, mostly a 2 chord. Dominant 13 sharp 11, 9 sharp 11, 13. The last one, number 5, chords that move up a half step imply an altered dominant. All altered extensions, because they share the notes of the chord you're going to. All right? I hope that was helpful. That's really all I got today. I really appreciate your time. Have a great one. Happy practicing.